Young people are at the heart of everything we in Peace Jam do. We want to build communities with young people who are resilient and have 21st century skills, who feel confident and safe to be part of something good, who want to work with others, who can communicate how they feel without feeling embarrassed or lonely, and who feel empowered to take action for the good of themselves and their communities. There are more than 40 active conflicts happening in the world at the moment, mostly in Africa and the Middle East. But we see them, often in real time. They appear on our TVs, our computers and our phones. We can observe the devastation and the misery. Our world is melting and flooding and drying up and catching fire. And whatever your opinion about out or in is, the Brexit process has been divisive. I was speaking to a teacher in Leicester on the day after the Brexit vote, who was saying that she just managed to get her Year 10 students to talk about truly accepting the differences, and now she felt she was going to have to start all over again because they had witnessed prejudice amongst all communities. And then this happened. Uncertainty everywhere we look, and young people have been badly affected. Uncertainty about exam grades, problems at universities, 2 terms lost in lockdown, and a very different way of life at school. The disadvantages have become more disadvantaged, and there is more child poverty. But look what happens when young people start to feel passionate about something that is being harmful for all of us. They start to find their voices and work together to take action. They can be resourceful, they can be persistent, they can be thoughtful, caring, compassionate, and innovative. They so deserve the opportunity to be all of these things. And that's just what Peace Jam is trying to do, to provide young people with safe spaces, safe havens to talk about difficult issues, to feel confident to explore issues that they are concerned about, to develop the skills that will enable them and empower them to take action. We introduce them to some of the best examples that the world has to offer. 14 Nobel Peace Laureates. What better examples are there of perseverance, belief, enthusiasm and bravery could we bring together with young people in today's climate of uncertainty, antagonism and fear? We have curricula for all ages that provide teachers and youth group leaders with a plethora of materials to use on all year round programs. Each curriculum starts with a session that allows the group of young people to establish their own haven or space by setting their own boundaries or rules and regulations, how they want to behave during their Peace Jam sessions. They are then guided to develop civil discourse skills and open-mindedness before they make up their own minds. In 2010, our Nobel Peace Laureates established the Billion Acts of Peace campaign to encourage young people, in particular, to undertake acts of peace and community service projects. It can be as simple as sorting out the list problems in their school grounds, to providing education backpacks for refugees on one of the Greek islands. Currently, 75,500,000 acts of peace have now been logged from 171 countries. They decided that these areas need to be addressed. Some of them might feel very familiar to you. There's a lot of synergy between these and our own areas of focus. And each Peace Jam service project needs to focus on one or more of these areas of focus. And then we have our amazing Peace Jam youth conferences, which deliver inspiration, education and action over one weekend packed full of discussion, workshops, action projects and a lot of fun. Our next conference is probably the most challenging one I've been involved with. As part of our Erasmus Plus European project, we were scheduled to run a pan-European conference at a university in Brussels. So this 2-day event is now going online over 5 days with input from Nobel Peace Laureate Jody Williams and the Right Honourable Stuart Lawrence, who was the late Stephen Lawrence's brother, and a wide range of workshops, activities, and all in 3 different languages. Quite a few Rotarians are involved with leading Peace Jam UK. I've mentioned Alison, I mentioned Luke. We have several others on the Peace Jam UK leadership team. We're very happy to train Rotarians for whatever way you want to get involved. We've got Alison in Wales, thank goodness, and we can do an awful lot of remote work. A lot of our teacher training obviously now is online. Many thanks for listening to me this morning. It's just been so lovely to be with you all.
So I have great delight in welcoming Richard today, Richard Torres. Now, he says that thank you, Richard, although my past does not define me, it's an intricate part of my journey. At a very young age, I allowed the pull of the streets to get the best of me. By 18, I'd done 3 years in juvenile and was facing the death penalty. After 30 years of damp concrete and cold steel, I was blessed with the opportunity to live a productive, meaningful life on the outside of those grey walls. That was 6 years ago. Since then, I've married my junior sweetheart, Darlene, bought a new home, established myself in a rewarding position as recruiting manager, earned my place at the family table, and have kept my word to my brothers on the inside. I was also blessed with precious time, loving and caring for my mum before she passed away 2 years ago. So Richard, we welcome you to Wales. Thanks for coming from Houston.
Glad to be here. It's a blessing. I have, my journey started as a kid in a pretty rough neighborhood. And when my dad passed away at 8 from cancer, that really, our family was really close and tight at the time. But when he passed away, that crumbled things. Our income went all the way down. So we went from living mediocre to living pretty poor. And I didn't understand it. I got caught up in the streets and that kind of lifestyle, which ended me in prison for just about 30 years. Now, while I was in prison, I spent a lot of time reading, and that's what helped me a lot because I had about a 7th grade education when I went in. My vocabulary was terrible, so I took the time out to start reading. As I was reading books, some of the stories inspired me to move forward and pursue an education. Eventually, I got my GED, made it all the way to my bachelor's degree in behavioral science. It took me a while to get there. A year later is when I made parole. And then, so I've been out 6 years. And as soon as I got out, I started working in a warehouse of this company. And it took me about a month to fix their whole warehouse up. And from there, they offered me a job of recruiting manager, which I had no idea about. I didn't even know how to get on a computer. Actually, I struggled with this Zoom. I've been very fortunate to have the right attitude and the right people around me and to be strong enough for those around me that are not supportive, that are not positive. I've been strong enough to set them aside, to distance myself from them, family included, for certain. So time goes on and I end up becoming very good at my job. And this was set me up to go back into the prisons to start doing mock interviews and critique individuals on their applications, their resumes, get these guys prepared to walk out here and nail that interview. And now since the COVID, all that stopped. Nobody's able to go volunteer, go back into the prisons to help out. And it was something that's really grounded me out here to be able to converse with the guys that are still on the inside. It's a blessing to them, but it's also a blessing to me. It's very very comforting. It strengthens me, keeps me focused, keeps me back on point. If I'm straying a little bit, and keeps me in check to be conversing with the guys on the inside. So I look forward to that. Hopefully this COVID get behind us, and then I'll get to do it again. My goals out here are basically to not forget. every little chance I get to try to give back to the guys on the inside. So, of course, I have, I work long hours, paying for my home and fixing up my house, getting used to the idea of setting myself up for old age, because I'm already 51 years old and I don't have a whole lot established, but I'm getting there. But the main thing is when people get out, is what I want to stress, and I want a lot of people to understand, is the support system that they have available to them is super key. That is the ultimate area that I would like for people to look at and recognize that whenever these guys get out, most of these people really have their heart set on making it. How they get distracted and how they get turned, and I'm not making excuses for any of them, because there's really no excuse. You have those choices, but the more support that you have around them, the more love you have around them, the more they recognize their value, and it's more difficult for them to stray, because people are around them supporting them, but not just naysayers, individuals that are strong enough to let them know where they're straying, hold them accountable. So all of that matters. But people being supportive and loving is priceless. And I had that. I've had friends and I have family that support me. So it was, and I didn't mind leaning on them either. So swallow my pride and everything, and I'll take that. But that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome.